Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to Cave Talk. I'm your host, Max Castro.
And I'm your co-host, Ty Long.
It's episode number
Four. Five. Wait, no, this will be 5.
5.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Number 4 or 5. Number 5. And for this episode, we have Coach Ritz on the podcast. What's up, Kyle?
Not much. just trekking out here. Chatted up with you guys for a little bit.
Yep. So, how about you just tell the people a little bit about you, like what you do,
who you are, where you're from,
all that good stuff.
I gotcha. I'm from New Martinsville. Went to Magnolia, obviously, and after that, I went to West Liberty, studied education there. Toward the end of my college years, I started working out at River High School, and then ran Coach Flannery. And that's kind of how I got intertwined with you guys.
Yep.
Started coaching at River.
Yep.
And I landed a teaching job in Tyler County, and taught there for the last 2 years, and then I coached at River the last 3. So
Nice.
That's kind of the rundown of how I got to River there.
Yeah, we're gonna cover like all that, but like take it back
more
to
detail.
to like high school.
I got you.
You played like football,
State champion.
basketball?
Yeah. Football, basketball.
Oh yeah, you won a
4 years.
state championship in basketball and football, didn't you?
Yeah, we won. It was the same year, but not the same school year. So we won basketball in 2015. So that would have been the spring, and then football the fall of 2015.
Yep.
So how did like West Lib come up to like how that all come up?
Like the
when
recruiting
did it start?
process.
Yeah, like recruiting
Well,
stuff.
I mean, pretty local, and it worked out kind of cool because the coach that had recruited me mainly from West Liberty. He was a Williamstown guy, so we played Williamstown. Every year I was in school, and they were single way like Magnolia, so a similar playing field. So he actually, would go home to his hometown and watch games and stuff. And I had reached out to West Liberty, obviously, but with just us having to play against him every year, and with Magnolia being pretty close to West Lib anyway, he'd pop down to a lot of games, and I'd go up to kind of frequent visits and stuff like that. And that's kind of what made me decide to end up going up there, was just because he was so persistent with, getting down to games, getting me up to things. I had multiple schools I could have went to, but, it was just like the persistency that he had, back and forth communication and, the interest he showed. So, that's kind of how I ended up there over somewhere else. And also, all the schools that I talked to were pretty much Division 2 and 3. Some small, Division 1 walk-on chances, but it was one of those deals where I was like, I don't want to live 6 hours from home to play the same level of football as an hour
that's for
away.
sure. What position coach was the coach that like recruited you that you said was from Williamstown?
He was defensive line, Coach Forsey. He's a good dude. He actually stopped coaching football while I was up there. He had got a like an admin type job in the athletic department, and he just had a kid like a year or 2 after I got there. So, he was D-line, and that's what I went to college to play originally. And then I ended up switching to offense. He coached 1 more year, and then he took his new job. So it kind of, worked out. Like the dude kind of got me there. Flipped out shortly after I had switched to offense anyway. So
when did you commit to like West Lib?
It would have been the late fall, early winter of 2015. So
Was that like your junior?
It was senior year. Yeah.
After the season.
Yeah, it was shortly after the season because I was the first commit of my class at West Lib. So. Yeah, I was the first commit of that class, and actually when I left, which I was there 5 years, there was only 2 of us out of who came in with me left. So, I have 18, 19 kids. I was a lot not there that I had started with.
Yeah. When did you get like your first offer for football?
It was right. I had a bunch pour in like right at the end of the season, my senior year. Which, usually the way it goes is like Division 2s and 3s usually hop on a little bit late to see, because if Division 1 schools are crawling all over you, they're not going to, a lot of Division 2s and 3s won't even waste their time and pull the trigger and say, hey, like we want you when you're pulling in Division 1 offers. So they, I had went on a couple visits to places, got some smaller offers, and then as I communicated with other schools, and said like, hey, this school had offered me, they just kind of kept trickling in based off, their interest in me and the fact that I was gaining interest from other places.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Was there any other school that was close, like to West Lib, or you knew West Lib was going to be it?
I don't know. I really liked Washington and Jefferson when I talked to them, and I actually didn't even get to go visit their school, but their coach was pretty on it too. And they were in the conversation. The big thing was like it was out of state, so I wouldn't have got in their Division III, so they didn't have scholarships available.
Oh, I see.
So, they were a very expensive school, and it was something I was just like, not really familiar with it. No one I knew was going there. And then actually Tyler Anderson, one of my best friends, he was getting some interest from West Lib too. So it was kind of one of those things. We just sat down together and we're just like, pretty good deal. Let's do it. And we ended up signing together. I mean, he didn't stick it out the whole time, but we stayed pretty close throughout the time we were there together. And I had a lot of good friends come and go as I was there too. Met a lot of good friends, so I don't regret the decision to go there.
How was that like kind of like transition from like high school football to college football?
Yeah, what's the big difference
Like,
that you noticed?
I mean, the main things you're kind of like.
Well, I would say just like your commitment to it. Like in college sports, like if you don't love what you're doing, you're not gonna make it out. Like,
you're playing college sports for.
It's kind of like an eye opener, and with football especially because you go early. I mean, you don't go like Division I early, where they go in June, they get a little bit of July off, and then they go in August. Division II and III, you just report like early August, first week, second week, and you have your 2-week camp period, which that changes every year. Usually, you can have a 2-a-day every other day. I'm not sure what it still is, but. Yeah, my first year was rough. It was really hot every day, and it's like you look at the schedule, like your coaches will give you like a calendar and it'll say what you got each day from, and it doesn't sound bad when you're looking at it, but when the day comes, I mean it drags.
Did you have thoughts about like quitting whenever you were there, or you knew you were gonna stick it out?
No, I mean, at the end of the day, I wanted to. I knew I wasn't gonna be an NFL guy or anything. I mean, I knew I was going to go to school, but just my scholarship and stuff, I was like, I want to get out of here without owing money. I want to, I just want to get my school done. I want to, stay active, stay close with the people I had been close with from playing, and I was just never a person to really quit out on things. I think, even if you're not enjoying things at the time, there's still things you can kind of grow with and learn to like, and I did, and I had some coaches that when I was there really kind of opened my eyes to it might not be what you want right now, but down the line you'll appreciate sticking it out.
Right.
I mean, not that I had ever mentioned quitting, but it was just kind of one of those fruition moments where they were just like it'll come together the way you want it to if you just keep doing what you're doing. So. That's what I did, but with the scheduling, like with camp especially, and then I'll get into like with the class schedules too, but with camp it was like they'd say 8 a.m. breakfast, all right, and then, so breakfast was 8 to 9, then it was like position meetings from 9:30 to 10:30, and then it was lunch 11 to 12, and then it was practice from 1 to 3, and then it was like weights, and then it was dinner, and then it was team meeting.
And this is during the season?
No, this is camp.
Like off season?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is camp.
So this doesn't have anything to do with school or anything?
Nothing yet, yeah. This is just camp. And you do that for 2-3 weeks, and then, it's like that every day. So, I mean, that's a 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. day,
that's like,
every single day. I mean, you get little breaks in between, but by the end of like that time period, you're just wiped. I mean,
I just want to get in bed and repeat it the next day. Pretty much.
It was even a pain for me to play Madden, and I love playing Madden. So I mean, but then when like school rolls about, I mean, and it just depends what you're studying. I mean, there's no like easy thing to do. You still have to do it.
Yeah.
But there are degrees that are harder to get while you're playing sports. My first year I was athletic training, and that required, I had to take a lot of like. It's called like Science 4 majors, so like biology, there was a biology for majors and for non-majors, and the 4 majors was more difficult. Like it could sub for either or. But like I had to take a bunch of classes like that, and they put me on the track to graduate in 4 years. And you know, at small schools, classes don't always get offered in the fall and the spring. So sometimes you got to take more credit hours in the fall and less in the spring. But you have to stay at a certain level to be eligible. You have to pass so many classes a semester. So they usually try to load you up a little more if they don't know, you know, how smart you are or whatever.
Yeah.
So like they might throw 18 credit hours at you, and then just in case you fail 2 classes, you don't drop below your 12 that you need to be eligible.
Oh, I see.
But then like when school rolled around, like my first semester was awful. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it was rough.
What, trying to balance it, like football and school, or
well, so like I had 18 credit hours, and I'll never forget it because everyone else was always talking about how easy their schedule was and like how much downtime they had, and I never really had any while I was at school, and that was talking to other football players. Like my first semester, like you have classes Monday, Wednesday, Friday classes, and Tuesday, Thursday classes. Monday, Wednesday, Fridays are like 50 minutes. Tuesday, Thursdays are an hour 15. So like if you have, you know, Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, that's a 3 credit hour course.
Okay, yeah.
And then if you have a Tuesday, Thursday, that's still a 3 credit hour because the classes are longer. But like my Mondays and Monday, Wednesday, Fridays were like 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 11, and 1. So between that time frame, I had from, you know, 11:50 to 12:50 pretty much for a break. So that was every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And, you know, normally during those breaks, they try to fit lifting in. So it's like I was pretty much 7:30 in the morning to 1 with just classes, weights, and then it was like class again. And then every day we had position meetings at like 2:30 until practice at like 3:15. After practice, or till practice, it was like till 5:30 every day. So my Monday, Wednesday, Fridays were booked from like 8 to 5:30. So it was like high school, but it was like throwing practice and film and meetings in throughout your day. So it just made for long days. And then, you know, Tuesday, Thursday was pretty similar. I was like 8 to 9:15, you know, 9:45 to 11, you know, 11 to 12:15. I mean, I was just booked all day.
How long did it take you to like settle down, tell yourself like, okay, I'm gonna be doing all this for the next 4, maybe 5 years?
I don't know if I ever sat down and really did that. It was just kind of one of those things. I've always been kind of like a head down person, just you know, a step at a time, and you know, things figure itself out. And I think that's kind of just how I took it. You know, obviously there were days where I was like, man, this sucks. I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, but you have that at every level. I mean, high school, college, pro. Like there's always, you know, things that make you not want to do it. But then I just, to myself, like I always thought, like I'm an athlete. Like I couldn't see myself not being one while I could be one.
Right.
You know, and you know, with me redshirting my first year, I mean, I was a defensive end, and you know, same with high school, like. College, people start getting hurt. Usually the dudes that don't play act like they're hurt because they're not playing. They want some kind of like get out. And like I wasn't doing that because I mean I wasn't gonna be a coward about it.
Right.
So like I'm at practice. I'm probably 240 pounds, and we're running so low on dudes. I'm playing 3 technique. I mean I'm going against the all conference tackle and guard combo. They're like 3 bills a piece.
Oh my.
I'm getting buoyed, and the coaches are just like, why are you still doing that? Like, what? Like, I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I mean, come on now.
Yeah.
But, you know, and like little moments like that kind of make you think, like, it might not be worth it. But, you know, I waited and figured it out. And
did you ever like think about playing football after that? Like, probably not in the NFL, but like somewhere else, or like you were just going like play football at college and that's about it.
Get your degree and
I mean,
head out.
that was pretty much it. I mean, I had talked to some places. You know, small arena teams and stuff, like when I was finishing up school. You know, I had a pretty solid. We played like an abbreviated spring season my last year, and I thought about going back to play the fall, but I mean I had just finished my degree. There were jobs opening in the area, and you know it was just like a 1-year thing or maybe like a 20-year thing, and you know you just kind of had to weigh them out. But yeah, I had a pretty good senior season. You know, I ended up getting all conference. Stuff like that. So there were some small, you know, arena type teams that had reached out, but it was nothing nothing to build a life on. So I was like, yeah, I'll just go ahead and start the career out and, keep coaching. I had helped out a little bit while you were freshman year, poking in and out of practices during that COVID year and, coming to games and stuff. And I really enjoyed that. And I was like, I'd rather do this than, I was battling some injuries and stuff my senior year. Nothing, game ending, career ending, but just nagging injuries that I was just tired of dealing with.
Did you always did you go into college knowing you wanted to go into education, teaching?
No, I went in athletic training.
Okay.
And honestly, it was cool, but it was probably like the worst thing I could have done because I didn't know what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So I just picked something.
Yeah.
And then what I found myself doing was hurting myself down the line because I took 32 credit hours my freshman year.
Mm-hmm.
So take those 32 credit hours, and then at the end of that year, I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to tape ankles. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it. Well, then when I was switching, I kind of had to look around and see like what would transfer classes to where I didn't have to make up a whole year of stuff.
Right.
Because I took intro classes. Like it was a liberal arts school, so I had to take English, math, communications. I had to take like the basic, well-rounded education classes. And so I was like looking around saying, well, what can I switch to? Because I did take biology and I took kinesiology and I took biomechanics and I took these other science-based classes. So like my options were kind of limited to, what would transfer over the best. So it was between like ex-phys, which it would have been cool, but it's a hard field to find jobs in, unless you want to go strength and conditioning route or you want to go to PA or PT school, you can get that. But that was just something I really wasn't I wasn't ready to make that decision either. So I was like, well, I always liked football and I always had pretty good teachers, and I was like, well, I could switch to athletic coaching, which was similar, not as hard, but it was a certificate. It wasn't a degree.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't do that, and then I ended up going into health and PE. And my teachers had told me, it's a difficult program to take while you're playing sports because once you get into your last 2 years, you're in the field.
You're teaching in classrooms and stuff.
in your third year in the program, it's pretty easy. You're observing, you're going and doing activities to fill for your hours.
Mm-hmm.
But then your last year, they call it block semester, which you're in classes, which we did it virtually just because it was COVID, but we were classes 8 to 2 on Mondays and Fridays, and then you were at a school from, whatever time. I was at Wheeling Park, so it was 7:30 to 2:30, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then your next semester, you're in the field every day, 7:30 to 2:30. So, that made for some long days with football for sure. Because, I was juggling so much trying to get myself ready for the year and get myself out of school. So, I was going, some days we'd have morning workouts at 5:30 in the morning. I'd be getting up at 4:30, 5 o'clock, getting ready to go into these workouts, 5:30 to 6:30, showering, straight to school, 7:30 to 2:30, and then we were right on the field at practice at 3. So, I was going nonstop my last semester pretty much every day. But, it did wake me up for, when I was done with football and I was starting work. I was used to a long routine, long days. And it kind of flips a little bit when you go to, if you're a teacher and you coach, kind of flip schedule.
Yeah.
Now I get up early and I might be getting home a little later, but it's still about the same length day. So, I think it kind of prepared me for what I do now pretty well.
Yeah.
Now, after college, you go straight to Tyler to teach?
I was in Tyler County Schools. I was at Sistersville Elementary.
Okay.
Can you teach both high school and grade school, or
You're teaching high school now, right?
Yeah, I'm at the high school now. But so with health and PE, you can do both.
And it's the same degree, you don't have to go extra.
So
or whatever.
I went for health and PE. That was the only thing I did, and it was, if you pass your test, it certifies you. You can take the K6 or you can take the 7 through 12 routes.
Yeah.
Or you can take a combined one, which is just a test. So I'm like, why would you not? Because then.
So you took the test.
I took the test for the K12. That way, it worked out well last year. Had I taken the 7 through 12, then I wouldn't have been certified to teach elementary. And then I wouldn't have had a job.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it just kind of gave me more opportunity. Like, I didn't know what was going to be available.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured I'd do what I could do to have the best chance to get a job with it.
Now you go from college to coaching. That's another thing. To River for what was it, 3 years?
3 years, yeah.
So, I mean, for those who don't know, Kyle just got the head coach position at Tyler last December. Was it December? Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
So what's like something you're gonna miss from River those 3 years that you were here?
Oh, I mean, definitely the guys. I mean, you guys are awesome to work with. You know, and it was just like a fun community. And you know, being from New Martinsville, you know, I would have never thought I would have been in the two positions I'm in now.
Mm-hmm.
But,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, isn't Tyler kind of a rival of Magnolia too?
Yeah. And,
Yeah.
I mean, it
But Tyler's got amazing facilities. Like it looked real nice out there.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
that's
was gonna say a
definitely
lot of upgrades and
Mm-hmm.
stuff, but in general, I mean, you know, you kind of just got to take like the opportunities
Mm-hmm.
when they're up for you, and I mean, it worked out really well for me when I took the opportunity to take the job at River and work with you guys, and
Mhm.
Coach Flannery, and
Right.
Coach James, and Coach Joe, and
yeah.
you know all the other guys there. I mean, it was a different change at first, and you know, I knew I loved to coach, and you know, working with all you guys, but I mean, I didn't know if I was gonna like it.
Yeah.
So, but I did. I ended up loving it, and it was one of the harder decisions I've made to leave. But
Mhm.
you know, I kind of thought back to when I started coaching there. You know, that wasn't what I may have thought would have been the coolest thing ever at the time,
Mhm.
but just how much I liked it. So when I applied for the Tyler job, I kind of went out with like, I didn't think I was gonna love River like I did.
Mm.
So it might be the same deal.
And plus,
here.
you work out
Right.
at Tyler, so that makes it
and
even
I mean,
better.
I have a good relationship with the kids that
Mhm.
you know I work
Yeah,
with out there too, and you know it was just one of those opportunities that you know you had to take.
Magnolia's like their football team's like kind of in shambles too. I mean, do they even have a coach right now?
No, I think they just had posted the coaching job.
Did that interest you since
Yeah,
you know
they
you're
were, like,
alumni
talking to you
from
about
Magnolia?
I mean, I had some people in the community reach out and stuff about it, but you know, it was kind of one of those deals where at that point, like I had already applied for the. Actually, I was already done deal. Tyler's head
Oh,
coach.
before they even
Yeah.
so it was
Yeah.
like, what have you
When
that
did you like
changed
apply
your
for
mind?
that head coach position?
It was. I can't remember the exact date. I know it was like the second full week in December, like around like the 12th, 14th.
Did they like reach out to you? Were you like,
No, I mean it was just like one of those deals. I mean it's easy to see. Like I mean we have county sites that just
Mhm.
you know you can
Gotcha.
hop right on and it'll say like what positions are posted.
mm-hmm.
Obviously, I mean Coach Walton. You know I see him daily. He's the vice principal at the high school, so he was the former coach before.
Mhm.
So like I mean, you know we knew that he was going to be done after this past season. You know with his son being done with school
And he's going to play baseball.
yeah, so I mean, I think he's real interested in you know going to catch all the stuff he can.
Yeah.
And not be two places at once because I think you know sometimes people try to do that and you know it kind of ends up you know hurting you one way or
Mhm.
another. But you know, it's just one of those deals where you know I saw the opportunity and you know I put my name in and you know sold what I'm about the best I could and it worked out well for me. So.
all right. Where are you like looking forward the most for next year? Well, this year.
Well, I mean, I'm just looking forward to seeing the guys in the element. I mean, we started a weight room and stuff.
I was just about to ask you that.
Yeah, we started a weight room. It's been a little wishy-washy just with like consistency of getting in because like we were supposed to start two weeks ago, I believe, and the day we were supposed to start, because we came back from Christmas break
Mhm.
on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
And we were supposed to lift Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays. Well, we ended up getting flooding and getting out of school on that Tuesday. We were supposed to lift the first day.
Oh.
So then we were like, well, you know, I was still working on ways to communicate with the players.
So are you going to these practices every day, or do you have like a assistant coach helping you? Or
Yeah, right now, Coach Zach Heasley, he pops in, he helps me. He's at the
Mhm.
school too, so it's real easy to plan and coordinate things. And Coach Jones, he's also there sometimes. I mean, he pokes in whenever he can. You know, he's got two kids playing winter sports right now,
Mhm.
so he's kind of in and out. But you know, those two have been there pretty much every day. Coach Heasley's been there every day. So, 2 guys, and he played with me at West Lib. So I mean,
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
Did you hire him, or was he already there?
He was already there.
Have you got any new coaching staff members?
None yet. No, same guys that were there last year.
Are you gonna try to get anyone new?
Any plans for anyone?
We're gonna see, but so we've been getting in Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, which we've had really good numbers. The first couple of days we just kept the high school dudes that were there, so 10th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th.
Yeah.
The people that are in the high school now, we were having around 15, 16 guys, which is
not
pretty
bad
good
numbers,
for
yeah.
off season. We have
Especially with guys in winter sports and stuff.
I mean, we have several guys wrestling, several playing basketball. So, but then we actually included the incoming 8th graders, and obviously we're missing a few out of their groups that wrestle and play basketball too. But, we had, the upwards of 25, 26 guys there last week. So, pretty solid number to have this early on.
Now, obviously, going from like an assistant coach to a head coach, that's like way different. So, is it? You think so?
Yeah, I mean,
because now you're the man.
You're
head
you're
of
like
this team.
Top guy there.
I'm Coach Planner.
Yeah, you're
No,
Coach
Planner. But
offensive mastermind.
yeah. So I mean, I think the biggest thing that people don't realize is like the stuff that you don't see every day. I mean, I think in general, like the everyday coaching stuff isn't going to differ a whole lot. I mean, other than
right.
Yeah, you're still putting in that work.
Like Coach Flannery, like we would meet before practices and we would decide what we're doing and who's taking what groups and what's going on. But the stuff people don't see is like the working with the athletic director, planning your flex days, fundraising. Which I mean, I know at River, like there's a booster club that handles all that usually. And coaches just kind of input and help when they can. At Tyler, really, there's not right now. It's more just like organize it and people hop in to help. So I mean, we're putting together some fundraisers, stuff like that right now.
Nice.
Kind of get a head start on the year, but I think that the biggest thing is the logistical side. I mean, the coaching side, you're on the field. The game's not going to change.
Right.
And you've been around the game forever now.
The perspective of everything, still stays the same. You just have to think of it in a bigger picture. Like at River, I was with the skill guys a lot. So, that was like my focus group.
Yeah.
The offensive skill, linebackers on defense. That was my focus point. Now I just have to see it more as like a big picture thing. And
Gotcha, yeah.
Are you going to be more of an offensive guy or defensive guy since you played, you played both in college even?
Yeah, I mean.
Like, what do you want to take control of mostly? Or do you even know yet?
I don't really have anything in perspective right now. I just think, I do think with, in high school I was more of a defensive guy, but we were a big run offense. I played tight end, so, I was involved in the run game a lot. But, defensively, that's like what I got most of my accolades from. So, I do think me having, a pretty good background in both and, just the connections I've made through playing and coaching and, just networking with other people. I have a lot of options, to communicate with and get ideas from. And, I have a lot of guys on staff now that have a lot of experience and, they have their connections too. So, I think as a staff, we have a lot of options and we have a lot of guys that are pretty talented too. So, we got some good things to work with. And
you got any expectations for next year, or are you just seeing how it goes?
Yeah, that's something you look forward, like you're looking for in like every kid that you're coaching.
The main thing is, people always say winning, and you think of like the scoreboard.
Yeah.
Always. You guys know you can win in bigger ways than just like the numbers on the board. So that's the main thing, and I think deep down, every coach, you see them going crazy if the score's not working the way they want it to at the moment, or it is, and they're still going nuts. But I think sometimes like they're doing it happily because they it's working out the way they want it to on the scoreboard, but then they're realizing it's working out because they have done the things that
the off season stuff like that.
The winning in life stuff, correlates to winning on the field stuff. So
yeah.
A lot of times too, I think it's just like a prideful feeling that we put kind of this in place for them to win the games like this, but they had to find out how to win in these other ways.
Yeah.
Okay, so now the fun fact of the day, like every episode.
Marshall beer.
It's Marshall beer. Come on, Marsh.
Hello, everyone. Your fun fact of the day is stop signs used to be yellow.
Did you know that, Kyle?
I did not know that.
You weren't around whenever they were yellow?
I was going to say, I was not.
I wonder how long ago that's from.
Now, like going back to that, like coaching side of things, people like expect you like have a successful year, especially because you're like first year. So I don't know. How's like, especially like playing time. That's something that I feel like people just like talk about.
Parents complain about stuff like that. How are you going to balance that?
Well,
because it's going to happen. You're going to have that little Timmy freshman, or I mean, it might not happen this year, but down the line even.
I mean, I think like deep down, everyone has expectations for everyone,
right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you you set an expectation and you make it a well-known thing that this is what you're expected to do, and if you don't do these things, you can't expect to play.
Right.
Yeah, like you don't show up in the summer or something.
I think like holding obviously talent plays a part.
Mm-hmm.
Like who you trust to perform,
right.
But having like a moral code to back up why things may be working out for people and why they may not be working out for others. You say, well, if you miss, say we have, West Virginia gets 3 weeks of summer practice and you get so many flex days. Well, if you miss, 20 out of 30 days, you're able to put in work with the football in your hands as a team.
Why should you get to play?
Well, and it's not even specifically that. Like, I mean, I get people will have
vacations
and they'll have summer camps and they'll have jobs and stuff like that. But if you can't be there for all that, then unless you're really putting up just like great results otherwise, you can't expect to get the same amount of playing time as the people that have been there. There has to be some kind of moral code to fall back on, to not only keep like your guys motivated and in check, but to kind of back up what you're trying to do. I mean, when I was in school, especially I noticed it my senior year because I grew up with the majority of the guys that were starting and playing a lot. And we were good, but there were a lot of dudes that may not have been the best football players in the world, but they were such like consistent hard workers that they became pretty good football players.
Yeah.
So, I think that, a lot of success comes from, I was telling my guys the other day, it's like, all right, well, say a guy misses one lift a week from now. He's a freshman. He misses one lift a week. Every week we have lifting from now till the time he is going into his senior season. It's like, okay, so say he misses 50 lifts. Well, then you break it down into reps. And then it's like, all right, well, he's missing this many reps of this each week, this many of this. And then it turns into thousands and thousands of reps that guy didn't take versus the kid that was there 3 days a week instead of 2. So, it's just the consistency of, being there and building yourself up,
Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like that happens a bunch too. Like people just don't show up and they expect to like start somehow. So
yeah, and I mean, it does
that happened a bunch this past year too.
I mean, it does happen. I mean, as a coach, you got to be understandful of situations. I mean, everyone's got something different going on, but you just got to prioritize. Like, is that a a legitimate excuse, or
to like miss?
Is it a cop out?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, anyone can sit there and say, I gotta watch my dog. I mean,
Yeah, right.
I
got a doctor's appointment or something like that.
Yeah, I mean,
it's never gonna happen.
No, I mean,
they say they have a
I've
doctor's
scheduled
appointment every week.
plenty of doctor's appointments, and usually they're pretty open to putting you when you need to. It might not be the exact day, but
Yeah.
if I called my doctor right now and said, hey, I got weightlifting at 3 to 4:30. Every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. He'll be like, all right, well, how about we go 3:30 on Wednesday?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's not about the exact act you're doing,
Yeah,
but
right.
being able to avoid conflict.
Right.
I'm never gonna schedule something right in the middle of when I know I have something planned.
So just say, I mean, obviously you've like got a lot of like knowledge from like high school, then college and coaching. Like, what would be like one piece of advice that you would tell like your younger self, like your freshman kid?
Like when the kids are freshmen that I'm coaching.
Yeah, just say like you from the past is watching this video. What would you say to him? Like
Yourself, your freshman
What
year.
would I tell myself?
Yeah.
Now with everything you know from like all those
I
years
honestly
that
think
you've been
the thing I would tell myself is don't compete against anyone but myself.
Right.
I mean,
That's-
I
I
think
like that.
when I was growing up, like I a lot of Magnolia guys were real strong and stuff, and in middle school there was no weight room program, there was no teaching. So I mean, I went into high school my first day, and I went in and was trying to do what all the older
Yeah,
kids
you
were
try to
doing.
like
Yeah.
compare yourself to
Yeah,
others.
and it ended up hurting me down the line because they let it go for so long, and it ended up being like an issue, and then I had to start over,
right.
a year or two down the line. So then I was playing catch up, and then
Got
I got hurt my
first.
junior year. So then it was like I catch all the way back up, and then reset, so
Right.
on crutches for 4 months. So I mean, that goes with anything. I mean, you gotta believe in what you're doing versus and not worry about what other people are doing.
Yeah.
So.
Now, what piece of advice would you give like a freshman now that's trying to like
You're coaching.
move on to like college and then like just whatever you're doing?
I'd probably tell them about the same thing,
Right.
but maybe just different approach on it. Just like one step at a time. One day. Just
Gotta be consistent.
Don't
with it.
don't overstep it. Yeah,
Right.
I mean, you take 1,000 little steps. That's going to be more than 10 big leaps.
Right.
So you stay steady and consistent with whatever you're wanting to be good at.
Exactly,
It's probably
yeah.
going to pan out better. If you do it that way than trying to make big jumps.
Right.
Every week. So.
What do you
Yeah.
What do you think about the NFL right now with the playoffs going on? Who do you want to win the Super Bowl?
Well, now I got to say the Bills just with the whole DeMar Hamlin situation. I think
see.
it'd be. I think the NFL is scripted, so
Yeah, okay.
But I mean, I'm not saying that
Yeah.
that was scripted by any means.
Oh, yeah.
But I do think like they have agendas, and I think with that happening in my head, that just said like.
Yeah.
But it's Bills' year.
And the Bills got it anyway. I mean, they're tough top to bottom. So
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, you got Josh Allen. You always got a shot. So I mean,
Yeah.
I'm saying the Bills are gonna end up taking the whole thing.
You watched the game last night, Jaguars game?
Yeah.
that was
That was
insane.
something, huh?
Trevor Lawrence still never lost on Saturday.
Yeah.
I've seen that.
I saw a dude. I was actually getting ready to come up here. Some guy bet like $11 million
Oh, my.
when the Jags were down 27-0. He bet $11 million that the Chargers would win.
Nice.
To win $11,000.
Oh my!
and he lost. So then I'm scrolling Twitter, like I'm reading the feed, and they said Coach Staley bet that one.
Now, we have kind of this thing going on the podcast where we ask you to like ask the question for the next guest on.
And
We have a question for you too from the guest before you. So, question was, what's your favorite ice cream flavor?
Favorite ice cream flavor.
Yeah.
That one's tough.
It's
I'm going Dairy Queen, and I'm going Royal Cheesecake Blizzard.
Never tried that before.
Oh, you got
It's
to.
a
I've had it before. It's okay. I wouldn't say it's great.
Wait, you want? What do you get?
The cotton candy.
That's weird.
No, the cotton candy's good.
What are you? 11? Come on.
I don't know. The cotton candy's good.
Oreo's good.
Everyone has Oreo though.
I mean,
Like you gotta think. Like you gotta get something special to Dairy Queen whenever you're in
yeah,
Dairy
I
Queen.
guess. So now,
I guess that's a decent flavor though. I mean,
what will be the question for the next guest?
you can go as hard as you want
Yeah.
or whatever. I mean, he
Mm.
did something basic, so like something.
All right.
I mean, you said it was hard though, so.
All right. You have one object from your room to take with you, and it's the only thing you can keep from your room.
Just
rest of
one
your
object.
life, what's your one object?
Oh, that's a good
question,
one. That's a
actually.
really
Yeah,
good
I like
question.
that. Well, thanks for your time, Kyle. I think that's
Yeah, thank you.
that's all we have for today.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Yeah.
Thank you, fellas.
Thanks for coming on.
over.
Oh yeah.
Thank you
Also,
guys
thanks for coaching us and everything. That was a fun time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for
Classic.
sure. It was. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you liked it. It was a good episode. I feel like.
Let's get some views. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Let's get
Yeah.
this thing
Oh,
out.
thanks
Yeah.
for 100 subscribers. By
Yeah,
the way.
we
hit
hit-
that last night.
Let's get this thing to 2.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Like, subscribe, and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok at CaveTalk.podcast. We're going to put it right here on the bottom. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.
That's it.